All right, all right, all right, all right. All right, so we're back, team. Uh, Let me know in the chat how do I sound before we jump into this comic book day, right? Before we see what I got, some of the pickups, and so that we could get hyped. Let me know if basically you got some of these pickups or some of the books that you're excited for, right? Let me know in the chat, right? So I know you're probably like Zen, just can you just hurry up and show us the books? I just want to make sure I sound good. All right, here we go. In terms of the books, shout out to Collector Cave, the best LCS comic book store ever. Okay, here we go. Let's get started, team. Bring out these bad boys. Ooh, ooh. All right. And I'm gonna bag and board them as I go along until more people pop up, right? Pop up in the chat. All right, let's start. First book, Marauders. Let's go, Kate Pride, aka Kitty, aka Shadowcat, but she goes by Kate Pride, right? And what it says right here on her knuckles is "Kill Shaw," right? So I'm not gonna spoil anything, but we just got back Kate Pride, and she's looking for revenge. You know what I mean? She's looking for revenge in this sorts. Because Sebastian Shaw, he's not doing what he's villainous, right? For lack of better words, and she's just trying to make sure that she pays her dues to him, right? Payback time. I love the way that they utilize her powers. What's going on, Sans? Appreciate you coming out to comic book day. So I know you're not a comic book fan, but I appreciate you coming out. All right, team. So we got Marauders as our first book. The next book that I picked up was X Factor number 3. Hold on, I'm gonna bring this down and then I'm gonna go through the books and then bring the chat back up, right, in a little bit. So we have X Factor number 3. I'm digging X Factor because it's like a CSI type investigation type team, right? They all have powers, but they're trying to uncover a mystery of who killed who, right? That's why it says Krakoa PD, right? Pretty cool. I enjoyed number 1, and I didn't read number 2, so I have to go back and read number 2. One day I was gonna do a marathon, but I decided to like really break down my books that I'm reading by day so that I could do my reaction reviews, right? But I really enjoyed number 1, so that's why I picked up 2 and 3 because I'm gonna go back and read. The next book on my list in terms of Marvel, I have a lot of Marvel books this week. Not a lot of Marvel books, but just the majority of the books that I have are from Marvel. The next book on my list that I picked up was Star number 5. I just want to know the conclusion of this book. Yeah, which and has a question mark. The end question mark, right? So I just want to figure out what's going on with Star. She isn't one of my favorite characters per se, but she is a character that I do, you know, I'm kind of invested in seeing like what's next for her, right? Okay, the next book, and don't worry, chat, if you guys are posting messages, I'm going to check in a little bit. I just want to make sure to get through the content that I said I was going to do today, which was New Comic Book Day, and then I'll jump right back to the chat, right? The next book on my list is XForce number 12. I'm enjoying XForce, and you know, it's a nitty gritty team, and I'm eager to see where it goes. Right. Before I move on, shout out to Sand Skeleton. Shout out to Andy, um, in the chat. Okay. So I'm pretty excited to read X Force. Yeah. All right. Here we go. Let me just show it in the bag and board, right? Or the plastic and board, rather, right? Pretty cool. Pretty cool stuff. Okay. All right. Let's move on to the next book. The last 2 books that I have are I wouldn't say my main pickups. I think every pickup was even. My kind of like at the bottom of the barrel list book to get was the Star book, but everything else was on par with each other. I think there was one book that I was excited for, right, for a long time. So I guess that would be the main pickup that I'll show you within 2 books, right? Oh man, I'm short a bag and board. I can't believe this. All right. Well, let's show the next book. The next book is Dark Knight's Metal Trinity Crisis. I said Crisis. Crisis. I'm not too sure what to think about the Dark Knight's Metal kind of saga, but the Trinity Crisis, hopefully it provides a really good story, right? That's all I want is just good storytelling that I could read it and just be like, ah, this is really good. But there seems to be a lot just from that first panel. Let me close the book back, right? But it seems pretty interesting. Let me actually, I'll leave this out of the bag and board and replace it. The main pickup that I got, I guess, right? I didn't want to have a main pickup, but there is a main pickup. The main pickup is Ultraman. Ultraman, the Rise of Ultraman, right? I got this specifically for this variant cover, but Ultraman has always been a character, right? In manga and Japanese shows, right? Kaiju based shows, kind of like the Power Rangers. Then we have Ultraman. Ultraman has been around before. I want to say around the time that I was born, if not younger. I love Ultraman. You know, his signature, like boom, and he does a move. I always wondered why he does this to do the move, but it's always been cool to me, right? Ultraman has always been cool, and for him to be in the Marvel universe, I'm interested to see where this could go. I'm kind of going through the pages. I'm kind of hyped to read it. But yeah, I just want to see how it presents in a comic book, right? But yeah, um, so yeah, it's I'm interested. So that was my main pickup. Also, the Trinity, the Dark Knight's Metal in Trinity Crisis, whatever that might be, right? So shout out. Let me go back to the chat in a little bit. Shout out to Steven. We can start the stream now. And now I'm gonna open up the chat just for thoughts about the comic books, right? So if I'm deferring only specifically to the content that I'm presenting, please only comment about the content that I'm presenting, right? And then so I can respond to it so that we could have comic book talk as more people are starting to come in, right? So here we go. Let me open up the chat, but let me drop that intro or mitro one more time.
You will never amount to anything. We shall see, brother.
And we're back. Welcome back. All right, so let me open up the chat. All right, here we go, team. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. All right, so Andy, I'm gonna go back. You said I need to get into the Ultraman series, right? Yeah, I remember watching it as a kid. Not, I don't even remember if I was watching it or like I caught some of the Japanese episodes. I don't even remember, but I just remember it was kind of cool. The Power Rangers, all the kaiju stuff, like Power Rangers. Then we have Beetleborgs. Then we had Ultraman. We have Mask Rider. All of those kind of shows where there was some kind of like big villain that they had to fight. Right? It's pretty cool. I first heard of Ultraman from Mugen fighting game that included a bunch of them. I found that on the PSP fighting game, and that wasn't translated. Yeah, Mugen is just really cool. I love Mugen. That was one of the first kind of like things I got into in terms of like editing and like creation of characters. Yeah, VR Troopers is another one, Steve. Uh, yeah, Mugen is just really cool. So I could see, your introduction to Ultraman could have been through like the character presentation in terms of like the kaiju's or even like Ultraman being a character within Mugen Uh, Mugen is a fighting game. It's really cool. I did put up 2 videos for Mugen, just kind of like matches and things like that. So you guys could check that out in some of the earlier videos, right? Um, I got gift I got gifted the Spider Gwen comics I was missing, and oh my God, they're so good. Now I have to hunt uh for fishing for this, just basically finishing the Spider Verse, Silk, Spider Woman, and that Batman comic. Yeah, definitely hold on to your Silk comic in terms of like first appearance for Silk, because since she's commissioned, I think that's the word, commissioned to have her show or the movie coming up, definitely just keep to it, right? Just keep it. If it's something that where you want to resell a later time, then definitely do that. Silk is a pretty cool character. Apparently, she was bitten by the same spider uh, that bit Spider-Man. She was bit on the ankle or something of the nature, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. I believe I'm correct, but yeah, she's a pretty cool character overall. Silk, it's a cool name, and she has similar abilities. I'm not too sure if her powers deviate though, so you guys can let me know if in the chat. Steven said salty bets, yeah, from Mugen. It made me it. Andy said it made me think of the original Power Rangers, the style and the action. Yeah, if anything, I'm not too sure in the pecking order which one came first. Was it Ultraman or Power Rangers? Of course, in my head canon, I want to say Power Rangers because that's what I grew up on first. But I wonder if Ultraman came prior as like the Kaiju King, right? Um, yeah, I'm not too sure. Nah, not sell, obtained. I need to find them and collect them. I hear you, Andy. I hear you. For the first time comic book readers, uh, what recommended to your viewers? For the first time comic book readers, what would I recommend to uh, just anyone who's getting into comic books, really, right? That's a hard question, and it's a hard question because they try to do a lot of number ones, right? But even in the number ones, they do reference past stories. But all in all, I would definitely say try to get a number one, right? First, find a character that really just you cling on to, right? That could be it could be any of characters, right? Because they're always coming out with number ones. For example, yesterday I did a reaction review to Maestro. Now, even if you don't know anything about the Hulk or prior events, this is an introduction to the character of Maestro. And here's another example. This book, you don't need to know anything about Ultraman prior to this, right? And to be honest, besides seeing clips, I don't know anything about Ultraman, right? I just know he's pretty epic. He's a character that fights against kaiju monsters, right, to save the day. Spider-Man is not in this book. This is just a variant cover, so you could start off with pretty much any of the number ones, right? But sometimes it gets very tricky. For example, Infinity. This is Dark Knight's Metal, Trinity Crisis. Now you could read this story without knowing a lot of the characters, but Dark Knight's Metal did have an introduction to a lot of these characters. So yeah, but I would definitely say, find a character that you really just cling to, right? And then find a number one for that character, and then continuously follow it, right? Um, Let me see. Annie said Spider Gwen Batman is a good series. I haven't seen much of Superman. Black Panther was great. Deadpool was alive. Yeah, it's pure. And then Andy also said, adding on to the question, it also depends on what you like. You might like more action or a more chill story. You might like Superman or Batman. So I think it's purely dependent on you. I agree. Yep. Uh huh. Like I love Shonen, slice of life. Ain't too bad either. Yeah, there's so many different comic books, and here's the thing: if you notice, a lot of these comic books that I picked up, a lot of them are Marvel comic books, but there are some really good indie comics, really good ones, right? And it just happens that none of my indies I wasn't really looking into any indies this week. I really love Ice Cream Man, which is a psychological thriller type of book, right? There's some other books here. I'm not gonna kind of grab the halls right now, but yeah, there's so many different books that you could really get into without feeling like it's overwhelming, right? Because for example, I could pick up like if anyone was to pick up like House of X and Powers of 10, that is so overwhelming, even if they're number ones, right? You'd just be like, what is going on in the story? There are too many references. It's just a lot, right? But yeah, so many different ways to get into comic books, but I would always encourage a number one, right? For example, someone asked me that same question for like a really great female character to get into, right? And when we were talking, it just really depended on her likes when she was when we were talking about it. And then we decided that, a great book to for her to get into was Star number one, right? Fresh brand new character. The other book that she got into was Zatanna number one from DC Comics, right? That way there wasn't a lot of references. In Star there was a lot of references. In Zatanna, not that many, right? Um, so and he said I got started on heavy metal comics and R. Crumb. They got into Batman and superheroes in my late teens. Yeah, I hear you. And have I read Three Jokers yet? I started Three Jokers and then I put it down. Not because it's bad. It's really good. It's just for me, I need to feel the moment to get into a really involved story. And Three Jokers is one of them, right? Where I just really need to just immerse myself and I don't want to force read. Force reading is like, oh, I got a whole bunch of comic books, now I have to read them. Notice how I said I have to read them, right? I don't want to ever feel like that. I got Three Jokers, it's there. I know I need to read it, right? So I really stayed away from any kind of hype that anyone was showing. So I'm gonna read it, and I know once I'm ripe, right, that I'm just gonna be like, damn, this is a great book. I've heard a lot of great things about the book. So I got it knowing that I'm eventually gonna read it, and part two is gonna come out. And I'm gonna be ripe for it, right? Shout out to some comics more. What's going on, bro? So Andy said, read the comment above. Okay. Duh, duh, duh. Which one? Also, remember to drop a like and sub if you haven't already. Appreciate you, Andy. And shout out to Andy. Andy did a really good artwork for the Super Mario Maker videos that I'm going to, in episode 51, I'm going to show that. So look out for that. Shout out to Andy for that. That's probably going to be the cover, the thumbnail, right, for it. So appreciate you. Yeah, I got to be ripe. I can't just read for the sake of reading. Stopping by to say hi. Appreciate you. Slim Comics. And then let me just go over the books that I got again, right? For those of you who are just popping in. Star number 5. I'm showing this first because this wasn't my biggest pickup, right? This was the one that I was just like, I gotta figure out what happens with Star, right? In terms of like the gem that's embedded in her. I forgot what gem it is. Is it the reality stone that's embedded in her, right? It's part and partial to her. The next book was XFactor number 3. Definitely enjoying it. Didn't read number 2 or 3, but I loved number 1 in terms of the investigation. The story, this team is just. I love when we have obscure teams that you're just like, I never thought about that combination of people combining together to make a team, right? And this is like a CSI, right? They have powers, but they use their powers in a way that makes sense to the story, and that's why it says like Krakoa PD, right? It's just cool, right? I like it. Some people are like, oh, I'm not really feeling X Factor, but I am. Next is Marauders number 12, right? Welcome back, Kate Pride, right? And it says Kill Shaw. So she got to get some payback going on. Next, I had to pick up XForce number 12, especially because it's leading up to the path of X to Swords, right? Definitely hype for it. Definitely hype. And XForce has been just a really good team. A team anyway. It's composed of Jean Grey. She's not usually on the XForce team. We have Beast, we have Domino, Wolverine, and other characters that Colossus is here now, other characters that are kind of popping in along the mix, right? And I picked up Trinity Crisis. Gonna read this one. This is one of the books that I got. I'm not gonna read it for a little bit because I have to get ripe, right? Using the word, I have to feel like, all right, I'm ready for a kind of a big story. And Trinity Crisis seems to be that, right? Because if I look at the first panel, the first page, this is the first page. A whole bunch of characters referencing to the old Infinite Crisis, right? But this is a different type of crisis because this is from the Dark Multiverse. So I'm chilling on that for a little bit. I'm gonna let it sit. Probably Saturday, right? When I'm feeling like, all right, let's do this. Then I'm gonna immerse myself in the story, right? The other book that I got had to get, and this is part of the thumbnail, is The Rise of Ultraman, right? All right, let me get back into the comments. Andy said, then I would go and find a comic. That's the start of the comment to read. Oh, okay. You're referencing the referencing before, right? Steven said, did you get Red Hood End and All Outlaws number 52? Oh man, here's the thing. I fell off of Red Hood and the Outlaws, and I love that team. And I collected the first 15 books, right? Really religiously, and I fell out of it. So I don't know what's going on with Red Hood and the Outlaws. Um, I like that team. I like Bizarro as he is, and he's a different iteration of Bizarro, right? I forgot which clone version this is, but I really like that character. There was a point where they felt like they needed to kill Bizarro, right? And I remember reading that book and feeling like, damn, like don't do it, and like um Red Hood just having that kryptonite bullet to his head and then deciding not to, right? And him becoming part of the team, it was just like, because that's like the Dark Trinity, right? Even though we have a dark multiverse, the Dark Trinity of characters. I forgot the name of the other girl, the other character, right? The female character on that team. I believe she is from Themyscira as well, but she's cool. She's cool, and that team, I love that team. Uh, you just reminded me that I need to go back and kind of like go to those characters because I really enjoyed that team. Right? They're not like overly powered and feel like they could do pretty much anything, but they went against some, some hefty. They went through some hefty stories, for lack of better words, right? And yeah, I definitely gotta feel ripe. I can't can't eat the hard bananas. Yep, you got it. That's how I feel about comic books. I know what potentially I'm gonna want to read, and then I'm like, I'm gonna wait till I'm ready, right? I have to feel it, um, because otherwise I'll think the book is just like bland, right? Um, and that's how I feel. So in terms of my hype scale, like which books do I really want to read? I really want to read the Ultraman. Then would be in the order of XFactor and then XForce and then so on after that, little by little by little, right? Which ones do I know I have to like put a heavy investment on a mental scale for? It's probably going to be X-Force and also Trinity Crisis. The reason for the X-Force, for me using like a level of cognition, extra level of cognition, is because I want to connect the dots. I have a lot of theories when it comes to the X-Men books, especially referencing X, leading into the X and Swords, and also for Powers of X and House of 10 Hickman. Jonathan Hickman is one of those writers who you need to really pay attention to, right? To subtle things in the books because they will come back in later books. So I like that. I like that aspect. And because in one of the books we saw an image of the Shadow King, and then we never saw him again. He was just in one of the panels in the background. So it's like, what the hell? And also you're seeing some other things that are happening, right? So I just really want to pay attention to. You ordered Ultraman. Looking forward to reading. Yeah, I'm looking forward to reading it too. And the Ultraman, I'm pretty sure that I'm gonna do. I have to do a, a reaction or review to Deceased, because that's what in the last stream that I did, not yesterday's stream, we voted on. And I'm probably going to do a rundown review. Rundown reviews are different from reaction reviews. Rundown reviews are when I do a pre-recorded video that is edited and contains a lot of panels and also includes audio, right? So for example, if there's like a gunshot, if you watch my video on the Mega Man fully charged, you'll notice that there are sounds in there, right? Extra sounds, uh, just to kind of exemplify some of the action that happens in certain scenes. So those are rundown reviews, and reaction reviews are when I read the video, when I read the book about 10 minutes prior to the actual stream, and it's fresh. Everything is fresh out of my head. My hype is fresh, and how I feel about the book is fresh, right? So those are reaction reviews, but they're all in the playlist under comic book reviews. So go out and read some of those old not read, watch some of those old videos. Yesterday I did a Maestro video, and that is now edited to a degree because I had to take out like the first portion of the audio, and it's good to go. So read that if you're interested in that. And in terms of what's happening next, then, right? So what's coming up? What are the next couple of videos coming out tomorrow? Tomorrow I'm doing a live stream on the future of the MCU, and I'm using StreamYard as a platform so that if some of you who are over the age of 18, right, can join me to just give your thoughts about the future of the MCU. Okay, I'm gonna post it on my Instagram too because my Instagram is like full of just comic book lovers uh, who can join. So if you would like to join tomorrow, it's tentatively uh, at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay, let me go and check. Let me make sure the time is correct because I did change today's stream time to 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, but I want to make sure so that you guys could check that out, right? But come out tomorrow and just talk about what are your thoughts about the future of the MCU and certain movies that are coming out or shows for Disney Plus. That's what we're going to talk about tomorrow. And there is no wrong or right answers, just about theories about the future of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, right? What's happening. I think I said DC a little bit earlier. So tomorrow we have that video, and that's going to premiere at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then for Friday is going to be a review for one of these books. Not too sure which one, but I'm going to let the chat decide in a little bit. And then Saturday at about 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is Marvel's Avengers Part 2. Right? I know a lot of YouTubers have played the game already and they're done and things like that, but I'm taking it a weekend at a time. Whatever I did in part 1, that's what I played. Part 2 is going to be the continuation. I'm really feeling the game and the Kamala Khan, and this is going to go for probably about maybe 3 months, right? Up until the time when we get new DLC, then I'll continue the series, right? We're going to go until we beat the game. But one day at a time, every weekend, right? On Sunday, Sunday is a biggie, team. Sunday, for those of you who like Super Mario Maker, we are celebrating our 50th episode marathon. Yes, it's a 50 episode marathon. Literally, it's going to be all 50 episodes that premiered. It's going to be streamed, all 50 episodes. Now, that took a lot of time for me to download all the episodes. I did get a terabyte, a USB of a terabyte, so that I could, because one of the things is that YouTube does have a limit, right? In terms of what you can upload, but there's no limit on the stream time. So I'm gonna basically I already created a video. I have to process it. It's gonna go uh, to that terabyte USB, and then I'm gonna stream it through the platform that I'm using right now. So it's gonna be it's about 90 hours a Super Mario Maker. So it's gonna run from I think late late Saturday, right after I play the Marvel's Avengers, all the way up until the Monday, right? So I won't be present for most of it as it's gonna be streaming, but it's for the brand new members to just kind of immerse themselves in Super Mario Maker, and for those who really enjoyed it and supported the 50 episodes up until now. Let's get back into the chat. What's going on? I collect a lot. What's going on? Uh, oh, Mulan, yeah. Oh, I appreciate you, Slim Comics and more. I don't know if you left over already, but I appreciate you. Thanks for coming to hang out. So yeah, those are the book. Those are the books that I got. One more time. Boom, star. Okay. Yeah, 50 episodes of of Mario Maker anniversary. Yeah, from my channel at least, right? We got Trinity Crisis. Then I also got XFactor, Marauders number 12, Ultraman, and XForce. Now, out of all those books, I'm gonna let the chat pick. Don't pick yet until I say go. The first person to put it in the chat will be the one after I ask my question. So I already have Deceased as the next book that I'm gonna do a review on. Still haven't read it yet because I'm doing a reaction review. Now, out of the books that I showed today, which one would you like to see me do a reaction review to? Go. You can now put it in the chat and I'll go through the books. First person to pick, that's the book that I'm going to do for the next one. Boom, bam, 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 boom. That's it. So now I'm going to wait for the chat. In the meantime, while I'm waiting for the chat, I'm going to play that mid slash outro one more time.
You will never amount to anything. We shall see, brother.
Ultraman. You all picked Ultra. Wait. Steve, you picked the X. I was like, X? What X? But the X is for XForce, right. There's two X's. But I collect a lot. Pick first, right? And Andy, you would have been second. We're gonna do it on Ultraman. We're gonna do it on Ultraman. Here's the last question. I know I did say a reaction review. Would you all, and then it's gonna be the first person to pick. Actually, it's not gonna be a first person. It's gonna be the cumulative answer, right? Would you all prefer a reaction review? So I read it 10 minutes before the next time I do a stream for reaction reviews, or would you prefer a rundown review with cool edits, panels, sounds, and all that cool stuff, right? Shorter video, there's less interaction, but it is a video that compiles my review into the format of edited video so that you could feel the review, right? So let me know in the chat. Rundown and review, which is R&R, or reaction review. Well, that's R&R too. Reaction or rundown? Let me know. For Ultraman. I'm excited to read this. Depending on what you guys pick will let me know when I read it, right? If it's a reaction review, then I'll read it 10 minutes before the next stream. If it's a rundown review, I'm going to read it today and probably a couple of times, right? Let me know, team. Look into the chat. Look into the chat. I'm so hyped to read the Ultraman now. Rundown or review. All right, Andy pick rundown. Oh, and iCollect says rundown. Okay, so yeah, and you already know there's gonna be one specific sound that plays. I'm gonna play it right now because it is Ultraman, so it's gonna fit the occasion of and you know what sound I'm talking about. It's the sound from Killer Instinct Ultra. I'm gonna play the sound right now and be corny. Here we go. When they're doing the combo. Yes. Wait, what was that? You want to hear that one more time? So get ready for that. Some corny inserts in the next video, but I'm gonna make that video epic. So yeah, you'll probably see in a little bit kind of a schedule for that time, but well, you won't see a schedule because I have to create the video. It's gonna take a little while. I want to put some supreme Zen editing in there, right? So anyway, I'm gonna hop out of here, team. I'm gonna go eat, relax for the remainder of the night. I appreciate all of you who came out, so I'm gonna give everyone who's here a shout out. Andy, I collect a lot. Steven, scrolling back up. Slim Comics and more. And Sans the Skeleton was here early in the chat. So team, definitely come out tomorrow for tomorrow's stream. If you're 18 years or older, you could join me so that we could talk about the future of the MCU. We're just talking about theories, right? What are the theories? I'll have the points of discussion and we'll talk about it. If no one is there, then I'll just talk about it. Either or, we're gonna talk about it, right? So anyway, I don't like shortened review. I prefer hour-long full reviews because with short reviews you might leave out some cons or what have you. No, I hear that. I hear that. I might even do like a part twos, right? Part twos meaning that I do the review and just we talk about the comic book in terms of theories. But I did see the R&R first for a rundown review, so I'm going to do that. But anyway, with that being said, everyone, this is Zen from Zen World saying peace, love, and prosperity. If you're enjoying the content, drop me a like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Definitely hit the notification bell. And YouTube, make sure it works. And share the video with like-minded people. Anyone who you think that will enjoy my content, right? If you think that they're gonna dig it, then share it with them. If you don't think they're gonna dig it, then don't share it with them, right? I'm not forcing subscribers. I'm not forcing people. I want a illustrious team of members who will keep coming back and enjoy the content. Like you all in the chat, right? I enjoyed talking to you all. And if there's only 3 or 4 people, then I'm good with that. You know what I mean? Uh, the goal is to reach people, not to get rich. If I do get rich, though, off of YouTube, it's nice. It's damn nice. But the point is to really expand on geek culture, right? My version of geek culture, which includes comic books, collections, right? Anime, sword collecting, because that's what I like, right? And just to reach people because can't reach people the same way we used to when we were kids. Go to the corner store, buy some X-Men cards, and then trade with our friends, right? So anyway, I know this was a long outro, but yeah, I just wanted to say that. So share the video with like-minded people, team, and catch me on my Instagram, which is zen.world_. Check out some of my content. Yeah, if I get rich, it's gonna be a self-feeding machine because it's gonna be about the stuff that I love to do. But anyway, team. Oh wait, you guys are holding like you can't leave Zen because you might use the money to get comic books and games for your stream to earn more money. Exactly, exactly, exactly. And then I could do more giveaways and all that stuff like that. But anyway, I'm out of here, team. Appreciate you all and have a great night, great morning. Overall, just a good day. I'm out of here. Take care, team. I'm still here. I didn't actually end the stream. My bad.